there is an experiment called alpha particle scattering experiment. So after doing the experiment, he draws some conclusion regarding this experiment, and that conclusion is the atom model concept of Rutherford. From the observation and conclusion made by Rutherford, he made some interference, or he made some points regarding that experiment, and that points will be considered as Rutherford atom model. So moving to the Rutherford atom model, we first know about what is meant by alpha particle scattering experiment. So this is a picture of alpha particle scattering experiment. These are the experimental arrangement. What all the things are there in the experimental arrangement? First one is there is a source of alpha particle. That's simply helium nucleus. So alpha particle are a positively charged particle equivalent to helium nucleus. Therefore, this is an alpha particle source which emit alpha particle. This is a lead collimator. What is the use of lead collimator here? To narrow the beam produced by the source. To narrow the beam produced by the source. So there is a gold foil of very small thickness. This is like a screen. So this is a gold foil. This is like a screen of very few thickness or very small thickness, and there is an alpha particle detector to detect the scattered alpha particle. So what all the things? There is a source of alpha particle. So this source of alpha particle produce alpha particle, and that alpha particle will pass through the lead collimator which narrow the beam, and finally incident on the gold foil which have a very small thickness. And after that, if it is scattered at a particular angles, or if there will be no scattering, or if it returns back, all are detected by using a alpha particle detector. So this is the experimental arrangement. What is the experiment done by Rutherford? He allows alpha particle to pass through the lead collimator. The first step is that allows alpha particle to pass through lead collimator. Lead collimator which narrow the beam, which narrow the ray. So allows alpha particle to pass through the lead collimator. Then what happens? This beam or ray, that means this beam will incident on the gold foil. The thickness of the gold foil is very small. And what about the third one? Scattered alpha particle, scattered alpha particle is detected by using a alpha particle detector. So here comes the experiment. First of all, he allows the alpha particle. Where the alpha particle comes from? This is the source of the alpha particle. From the source of the alpha particles are emitted. That alpha particles are allowed to pass through the lead collimator, which narrows the beam of that ray. And finally, that beam will incident on the gold foil of small thickness. After the incidence, there is some alpha particle scattered, or there will be no scattering, or it will be bounced back. That scattered alpha particle is detected by using an alpha particle detector. So this is the experiment. Alpha particle from the source emitted, then passing through the lead collimator, incident on the gold foil, and detected by using an alpha particle detector. So this is the order: source, lead collimator, gold foil, and alpha particle detector. So what is the observation regarding? This is the experiment. What is the observation? What is the observation? There will be three observations regarding the experiment. There will be three observations regarding the experiment. The first observation is that most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deflection, or otherwise we can say that deviation. So this is the first observation regarding the experiment. Most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deflection or without any deviation. What will be the second observation? A few alpha particle scattered with an angle greater than 90 degree. A few alpha particles scattered with an angle greater than 90 degree. So the second observation is that, first observation is that most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deviation or deflection. In the next observation, he states that a very few alpha particle or a few alpha particle scattered at an angle greater than 90 degree. And what about the third observation? Third observation is that a very few, less than this number, a very few alpha particle bounce back. That means a very few alpha particle bounce back means that they scattered at an angle of 180 degree. If they scattered at an angle of 180 degree, it passes or it deflected back. That means it bounced back. So this is the experiment and observation conducted by Rutherford. So Rutherford experiment is called alpha particle scattering experiment, or otherwise called gold foil experiment, or otherwise called Rutherford scattering experiment. In this experiment, he allows alpha particle to pass through the lead collimator and finally incident on the gold foil of small thickness. And the scattered alpha particle is detected by using an alpha particle detector. So this is the experimental side. What is the observation made by Rutherford? The first observation is that most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deviation or deflection. And the second observation is that a few alpha particles scattered at an angle greater than 90 degree. And the third observation is that a very few alpha particle bounce back. That means it deflected at an angle of 180 degree. That means it bounced back. These are the experiment and observation made by Rutherford. So from this observation, he concluded some points. From this observation from the experiment, he concluded some points. That points are here. So this is the experiment completed. So this is the conclusion. So the first point regarding the observation is that most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deflection or deviation. That means that, as we know that the alpha particles are positively charged particles. If there is some positively charged particles are inside the gold, if there is some positively charged particles, these are positively charged particles. So if there are some positively charged particles in the gold foil, that means that if most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deflection means that major portion of the atom is empty. If there will be any positive charge, major portion of the atom is positive charge, then there will be a chance of repulsion because alpha particle is positively charged particle. Same charges repulse each other. And the next one is that if there a whole portion of the atom is of negatively charged, then there will be a chance of attraction. These two never happens. That means that major portion of the atom is empty. So from this point, he concluded that first point regarding the conclusion is that major portion of the atom is empty. Major portion of the atom is empty. Point number 2. From the second point, what is the second observation? A few alpha particles scattered with an angle greater than 90 degree. A few alpha particles scattered at an angle greater than 90 degree. That means that there is some positive charge. There is very small positive charge inside the atom. So regarding the second point, presence of very small positive charge inside the atom. And what about the third point? Third point means that they bounce back. And major portion of the atom is empty. That means that from the first point in the conclusion and the last point in the observation, it is clear that most of the masses, that means almost mass of the atom, the whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center of the atom. The whole mass of the atom, the whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center of the atom. The whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center of the atom. That's why a very few alpha particle bounce back. So these are the observations and conclusion regarding the Rutherford scattering experiment, or otherwise called Goldfoil experiment, or otherwise called the alpha particle scattering experiment. So in this experiment, the observation made is, as we know, major observation made is most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deviation or deflection, and a few alpha particle deviated greater than angle 90 degree, and a very few alpha particle bounced back. That means it deflected at an angle of 180 degree. From all these observations, he concluded that major portion of the atom is empty. That means most of the alpha particle passing through the gold foil without any deviation means that major portion of the atom is empty. A few alpha particles scattered at an angle greater than 90 degree means that there is a presence of small positive charge inside the atom. And from the first point regarding